Hello, everybody. It's the Grouchy Historian. Here we are, Q4, week 5. We're almost there, almost to the end. Are you getting a little sad? Okay. All right, week 5. Here we go. Here is probably it's kind of a toss-up between this and the whole gun rights issue. What is the most controversial political topic in America today? Other than, and I am definitely not going there. Yeah, no, we're not going there. Anyway, the pro-life movement. Okay, this is an extremely controversial topic, gets people's passions excited, ignited. But again, it's generates a number of Supreme Court cases almost every year. In fact, someone brings a court to challenge Roe versus, or I'm sorry, a case to the court to challenge Roe versus Wade. And again, as we discussed when we looked at Roe versus Wade in the third quarter, there's a lot of misconceptions about what exactly Roe versus Wade is and what the practical legal effect would be if any Supreme Court ever overturned Roe versus Wade in a similar manner to which Plessy versus Ferguson was overturned by Brown versus Board of Education. But I want to look at, there's a couple of other kind of nuances to this that I want to bring up because they're kind of near and dear to me. Okay, the pro-life movement is typically associated with the issue of abortion, and that's certainly very true. But nowadays, of course, the pro-life movement has evolved into so much more. Now, probably another highly controversial issue that is likely to generate some more court cases is the whole issue of euthanasia and assisted suicide. Right? These are pro-life issues. If you're Catholic, like I am, these are this at the same sort of level of moral injustice and moral problem, as it were, as abortion is. Right? These are grave mortal sins to those of us that are Catholic, just the same as abortion is. So, and what we see is certainly coming over from Europe. There are a number of states, even the District of Columbia, which is by where I live, has passed a version of an assisted suicide law. In fact, where I live in the state of Virginia, this has come up in some recent legislative sessions, euthanasia and assisted suicide. And again, I have obviously some very strong feelings on this topic, given my personal situation with my daughter, but it's a real thing. And I think as, let's be honest, we face an increasingly aging population. I personally think that end-of-life issues are going to become as important to us as a society as the protection of the unborn. And I think it's going to be continually controversial because it is a very hard issue for some people to understand and to deal with. So there's a couple of ways to look at this issue. I would encourage you to look beyond abortion and look at the whole issue of pro-life. What does it mean for, in particular, if we define it as we do as Catholics, protecting life from conception to natural death? What does that mean practically? What does that mean legally? What does that mean morally? And where do you stand on that issue? And how do you defend your point of view against somebody who will say, well, they're just suffering. Why do we want to prolong their suffering? Or they're severely disabled. They'll never be able to contribute anything to society. Yes, I have heard both of those phrases. Yes, I have heard them in the context of my daughter. It's a real issue, and it's a real challenge if you have a pro-life position to defend it these days. So if you have that position, this is your opportunity to kind of see where the pro-life movement stands, because I think there are some exciting things going on. There are a lot more young people involved in pro-life issues because they've seen the results within their own generation. They've seen what has happened with the passage of Roe versus Wade. So there's a lot of changes in the wind, I think, particularly once people really sit down and have a discussion with somebody who is passionate about the pro-life movement. So it'll be interesting to see what you find out.